Hi everyone, I'm Swati from Indiahikes and you're watching Trek with Swati. Not many people know that the Indiahikes office is based out of Bangalore. So we keep heading out on weekends, we keep going on treks to document them, to experience them and come back and share it with the world of trekkers. So that is what I'm doing in this video today. Our teams have gone much beyond the popular Kumara Parvatha, Kudremukh, Tadiyandamol, Skandagiri. Those have all been done and overdone. We know they're beautiful, but there are so many other treks in and around Bangalore that you can do. So I'm sharing those with you today. I'm not sharing one or two treks, I'm sharing 17 treks with you today. So I hope it covers 17 weekends of yours. Now out of these, we don't run all of these treks of course. We have just documented them for you to do them on your own. We do run a few of them and I'll tell you that in the course of the video. But if you're doing any of these treks, head over to our website. You'll find the documentations of all of them in the description below, and these are very detailed documentations of how to reach the base camp, how to get permits for the trek, why do the trek, with a nice gallery of the trek so you can see whether you like the trek or not. We have all the information that you will need, so just head over to the documentation, pack your bag and head out on the trek. This is just a starting point for you to know where all you can trek, the details and the documentation. So with that, let's get started. I'll start with day treks that you can cover within a day from Bangalore, which means you can start from your home early in the morning and you can also be back before evening. So the first of them is the Harihara Betta Trek. Now this is a trek near Doddabetta, which is north of Bangalore, and it's a very quick and simple day trek. There are two lovely things about this trek. One is there is a small temple with a big courtyard around 5-10 minutes into the trek, where you can actually have a nice breakfast sitting over there under the tree, and then from there onwards it's an ascent to Harihara Betta. If you're fit, you can easily wrap this up in 25-30 minutes, but I would suggest taking it slow because you actually have very nice views. So I would recommend this trek for a quick hike that you want to do, very suited for families with children because we take lots of school children over there. So it's a very nice trek and it would be on top of my list. Next on my list is the Horagina Betta Trek. This is also in the Doddabetta region, and what you'll really love about this trek is that there is a big eucalyptus grove that you're walking through, and then it also has this lovely canopy that you walk under. Very short sections, but you'll still really like them. And in post-monsoon season, if you go, it is lush green with lots of berries and flowers blooming. So you'll really like this trek. Again, a very short one that you can do quickly and come back within a day. Next on my list is a trek towards Tumkur, and that's the Channarayana Durga Trek. Lots of trekkers would have done this trek with Indiahikes, but you can also do it on your own. This is a lovely trek that takes you to a fort at the top. Durga means fort, so Channarayana Durga is a very nice, you actually see a lot of remains of the fort at the top. There's also a nice reservoir which you can sit beside for a long time, and the views from the trek are also very nice. Only thing is there are a lot of rocks on this trek, lots of big boulders, so if it's raining it gets very slippery and you have to be careful. Another trek in the Tumkur region is the Minchukallu Betta. This is also very close to Channarayana Durga, almost a few minutes apart when you're driving from one to another. So Minchukallu Betta is also a lovely trek where you're starting in these farmlands. You'll see a lot of canals over there that you can walk through sometimes. And then you have a nice climb through canopies and then you go to the top. The view is almost as good as Channarayana Durga. It's a very similar view, but Minchukallu Betta is slightly easier than that. So you can choose to combine both the treks, or if you're taking children along, you can do just Minchukallu Betta and come back. I'll leave that to you, but both of these are very nice treks in the Tumkur region. Next on my list is a trek that our Indiahikes Trekking Club members just recently documented, and that's the Ramdevarabetta Trek. This is also in the Tumkur region and a very lovely trek even if you want to take children and introduce them to trekking, because you actually walk through very nice bamboo forests on this trek, which is very unlike most other treks. And at the top you have a lovely pond or a lake, if you can call it that, and the top has a nice plateau as well. So you have forests, you have bamboo forests, and you have this lovely lake. So it has a lot going on for a few hours of trekking, so it's definitely something that you can try near Tumkur. Next is another trek which is near Ramnagara. Now Ramnagara is known for these very rocky hills where even Sholay was shot. So one of those treks is the Bidirukatte Trek. Now this is also a trek that our team recently went on and documented and came back. When you go through it, you'll love it because there are almost 5 to 6 ponds on this trek that you see all along. And not only that, there is this old ruins of a temple, a lot of which is still intact. So if you're a photographer, a history buff, or if you have very little children around 3-4 years old you want to introduce to trekking, Bidirukatte is a very nice one that you can consider. Next is another trek in the Ramnagara region, which is a favorite at Indiahikes. We fondly call it Puppy Betta because the rock face that's jutting out looks like the face of a puppy, at least to us, but it's called Kunagalu Betta locally. So this is a it's a baby trek, if I could call it that, where it takes you through this very wide trail within a forest, and then it goes into these cave-like structures where you have to walk into a cave. There is nice trees growing within the caves, and then it takes you to a shrine at the top as well. So it has a lot going on for a merely 1 hour, 1.5 hour trek, and it's a trek again where you can introduce children to trekking. So it's definitely one of our favorite treks at Indiahikes, and you will really like it too. The final trek on my list of day hikes is the Pyramid Hills. Now this is not something that people would know because it starts off from a private property called Calvary Camp. Now our team had the privilege of going and exploring and documenting these trails. So you actually have to start from inside this private property. They'll help you get the permission and then you can go do the trek. So this is a lovely trek because there is one small pyramid like a hill, and then there is a bigger pyramid. You can choose to climb the small one or the big one based on how much time you have. You can choose to cover both, but the views from this region are very nice because you are in the hills of the Shivanasamudra region, so you'll get these lovely views from both of these treks. And if you have that kind of time to drive around 2-3 hours from Bangalore and go and come back, then this is definitely a day hike that you can do. Now I'm going to move on to the slightly longer treks where you'll have to travel overnight to the base of the trek and maybe travel overnight back. But all of the treks I'm going to continue with, they're all treks that you have to do in a day because camping is not allowed anymore on most of Karnataka's treks because you cannot camp in the forests. So you have to cover all of these treks within a day, start early in the morning and come back in the evening. All of the information about each of these treks is available in detail on our website. So we've documented how to get permits, how to reach the base camp. We have GPX files of the entire trail. So go there, take the information and do the trek. This is just a starting point of me making you aware of these treks. So the first on my list here is the Bandaje Trek. Now Bandaje is an extension of the Harihara Durga Trek. This is in the Chikmagalur region of Karnataka. Now this is a beautiful trek where you have endless grasslands. When we went on the trek, it was almost like walking in the meadows of Ali and Bedni Bugyal because you have endless grasslands that you're continuously walking in. And the reward at the end of the trek is that you're at the snout of the Bandaje waterfall. And it's not just any waterfall, it plunges deep down and you're standing at the snout and you can look down. It's quite scary, I wouldn't recommend going to the edge. But Bandaje is definitely a trek you'll love. Very quick forest section but lovely grasslands and definitely one you must do. Next I am going to talk about the Ettina Bhuja Trek. Now Ettina Bhuja means the shoulder of an ox. So this trek is actually a hill where the top actually looks like the shoulder of an ox. You'll be surprised at how it looks. But what's lovely about this trek is that it's a very simple, easy trek, doesn't require much effort at all from your part, except that final shoulder part where you have to climb. Very short section, like 10-15 minutes, a burst of climbing. But the view from the top is gorgeous because you're in the Chikmagalur region. You are going to see these ghats and these rolling hills from the top. So you're going on a weekend, coming back without feeling tired but feeling refreshed. So Ettina Bhuja is a very easy beginner's trek that I would recommend for everybody. Next, I'm talking about a trek within the Kudremukh range, but very few people actually do it. That's the Kurinjal peak. Now, Kurinjal is within the Kudremukh range, yet everybody flocks to Kudremukh, not knowing this trek gives you very similar views for actually much lesser effort. So you have those lovely dense forests, very similar to the ones you see at Kudremukh, and you see these rolling green hills from the top, and without the crowd that you see at Kudremukh. So Kurinjal, very underrated trek, but definitely something that you must do. The next trek on my list is another one in the Kudremukh range, which again not many people do, and that's the Gangadikal Trek. Now there is a lovely USP of this trek, which is right from the top you see the backwaters of the Lakya Dam. Now none of the other treks on the Kudremukh range show you this view, and I must tell you that view is totally worth it because you'll see beautiful rolling hills and then you see these blue oasis of waters from this dam. So it's definitely worth the view. Again, not a very difficult trek because you can wrap it up within 3-4 hours, but just for that view of the backwaters from the top, it's definitely worth it. Next on my list is another one from the Kudremukh range, and that's the Valikunja Trek. Now Valikunja, I would classify it a little more difficult than all the treks I've spoken about so far because it has a challenging climb. But in this trek, you're walking through very, very dense forests for a long time. But all of a sudden, the forests open up and you have this vast expanse of hills all the way to the horizon. So you are going to be weaving in and out of the forests, again amidst those rolling hills of Kudremukh. So Valikunja, if you're looking for something slightly more challenging, this is a trek you can do. And the final one within the Kudremukh range, which is not Kudremukh, is Narasimha Parvatha. Now this is a favorite among many of our team members because of the adventure it offers. Tougher than most of the treks I've spoken about so far because the forests are very dense, there are streams flowing in, you have to cross the streams, and the trail is not so easily findable on this particular trek, and the climb is quite big too. But if you're looking for that adventure, this is a very raw and very wild trek that you can do within the Kudremukh range. The rewards from the top are equal, or they can rival the reward that you get from the Kudremukh trek, plus you have this addition of adventure. So Narasimha Parvatha is definitely a favorite among many. It can be your favorite too. Next on my list is a trek that we run at Indiahikes, and that's the Coorg Nelji hill trek. Now this is again not available for everybody to do because it starts from a private property where we stay at this homestay and climb up to this Nelji hill. So it's definitely a trek that you can do over a weekend and come back and stay at this lovely homestay. You need permits from within the private property that you're going through, but I would recommend it highly because of that stay, that experience of the Coorg culture, the coffee plantations, and then this lovely climb to the top through these hills of the Nelji hill. So Coorg Nelji hill is definitely something that must be on your list if you're looking for something comfortable where you don't have to put in all the hard work. Next on my list is a slightly well-known trek, and that's the Nishani Motte trek. Now this is a very unique trek because it has this lovely ridge walk through the hills of Coorg, the Brahmagiri range, and it's something that you will love at any time of the year, whether it's post-monsoon or during autumn. So you'll see lovely green grasslands or orange grasslands. Definitely that view walking from the ridge is something you'll not get on many other treks. So Nishani Motte is definitely one to mark in your bucket list. Next on my list is again a trek that our club recently documented. It's called the Doddabetta and Abbey Vari Waterfall Trek. Now here you have two options. You can either just climb to Doddabetta and come back, or you can climb to Doddabetta and go to Abbey Vari Waterfall. Now the beautiful part of this is everybody goes to Kumara Parvatha, but this is a trek that gives you a view of Kumara Parvatha. So throughout this trek, you're actually in the company of this Kumara Parvatha hill. You can see Shesha Parvatha, you can see the actual Kumara Parvatha, and you're constantly trekking the shadow of that hill. The good part is this is not as difficult as Kumara Parvatha, but gives you very similar views as Kumara Parvatha does, and you can cool off at this lovely Abbey Vari waterfall at the end. So it's a trek that our team loved documenting, and I'm sure you love it too. The final trek on my list is the Brahmagiri Trek. Now it's almost like I'm saving the best for the last because this has been something all our documenters loved, because this trek is a very raw, untouched trek, gives you a very deep sense of remoteness because you're trekking in deep forests for a long time and you feel the presence of wildlife in the forest. You see elephant dung, you see pug marks all over the trail. Some of our documenters even saw elephants. So you have to be very careful. You have to take a guide along with you who knows the terrain in and out. But this is a trek that is slightly challenging but gives you that raw feeling of actually trekking in some unknown place, and the climb to the top is beautiful as well. It is a challenging climb to the top because it's a steep ascent to the summit, but the views from the summit are completely worth it because you're seeing all those rolling hills endlessly as far as your eyes can see. So this is a trek for somebody who has done a few treks in and around Karnataka and you want to experience something a little more more adventurous and raw, then this must be on your list. That brings me to the end of this list. It was a long list. I was actually sitting referring to my book and reading out the list to you because there's so many treks to explore, and this is still just 10% of the treks we have in and around Karnataka. So if you're a trekker in and around Bangalore, I hope you find this useful and I hope it covers many of your weekends. We have these treks documented in detail, so go through them, take the GPX files, get the permissions the right way and then go about it. We don't want any safety hazards in the mountains. We want you to trek sustainably. So I hope this video gives you a peek into that. We'll be back with a lot more treks soon. But if you have done any other treks in Karnataka which is not on this list and you have loved them, please drop in a comment below. We'd love to know. We'd love to go and document those treks as well. Maybe you can join us in the documentation too. So I'll be back with more soon. I'm Swati from Indiahikes and you're watching Trek with Swati.